We might, yes, we got time. Let's everybody introduce themselves. If you can do it quickly and just roll through. And I'll read your name off as I see it on my screen. And then if you could just say what country you're from and any quick words. Steve.
Steve Muir.
I know that. Yeah.
Canada.
Barry. Barry Morgan.
Yes, hello, Richard.
Yeah, just introduce yourself and which club you belong to, which country.
I'm sorry, Richard. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
If you could just let us know what country you're in and what club.
Well, which country?
Yes, please.
Yes, from Canada.
Okay, thank you. Jim.
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. My kids are not working too well at the moment. I'm needing to get them serviced.
Okay.
Canada, Ontario, which is one of the eastern provinces of Canada.
Okay, thank you, Barry. Jim.
Which Jim, me?
Yes, sir. Go for
Uh,
St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, PROBUS Club, and we're a men's club.
Thank you, Jim. Peter Skelton.
Yes, hi there. I'm in South Africa, and I'm a member of the PROBUS Club of Durban North. We've got about 65 members. This is the first time I've joined your video, and I'm really thrilled by seeing everybody all over the world. I try and tell everybody at the club how incredibly universal this is, and I want them to get excited about it.
Great, thank you. Mary Wilson, Australia. Mary's our newsletter.
Yes, I'm from Australia, from Queensland, and I belong to the PROBUS Club of Holland Park Central, which is in the suburbs of Brisbane. And we've been going for 15 years, and my husband and I started that club.
Fantastic, thank you. Tim Casey.
Yes, we're it's Port Perry PROBUS Club in Ontario, Canada. We have about 350 members.
Thank you. Bernard.
Hi, this is also my first PROBUS Global meeting. I'm from Goring-on-Thames in Oxfordshire, UK. I am currently vice chair of the Goring and Streatley PROBUS Club. We have, I think it's 68 members at the moment. We're normally about 75, so we're a little bit light on numbers, but our club was the first in the village, and now I think there are 3. We're all male, but there is an all-female club as well that meets at the same venue, which my wife is a member of.
Great. Dave Elm.
Good to meet you all, and I just want to say good to meet you all.
Great, thank you, Bernard.
As you can read, Dave Arms, a member of the Men's PROBUS Club of Newmarket. I'm the membership chair, which means probably the most amount of work than anyone else in the club. I'm also the president of the Ontario MGT Register, so I'm keeping very busy.
Thank you, Dave. Pierre.
Yes, good morning, Jacques Pierre Nollet from France. I'm in a club with 24 members, only men, and Gauthier de Brabandere from Belgium will join us a bit later.
Great, thank you. Our friend from India.
You're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Micro.
There you go.
That's better.
Here.
Yeah, your microphone apparently is not working.
Yeah, you're not working.
You're not muted, but your microphone's not turned on or connected.
Volume's right.
Let's move on and maybe we'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
Brian Fuller.
Oh, hi. I'm a member of the PROBUS Club of Bradford, Ontario, Canada. We are 150 plus members.
Yeah.
We've been in operation for about 12, 13 years. And during that time, we sponsored a second club in Bradford, which is over 100 members. So it's doing very well, and it's a great club. Both our Bradford clubs are mixed clubs, so we have a lot of fun between the men and the ladies. Okay.
Thank you. Let's see here. Carwyn.
Hi, I'm Carwyn. I'm from PROBUS Association of Queensland, Australia. I live in Greenslopes, but I attend the Coorparoo PROBUS Club, which is about 32 years old, and they have 87 members, and it's a mixed club. And I was part of the starting of the Malcolm Pacific Club, which has just turned 5, and we have 74 members.
Great, thank you. Marlene.
Thank you. I'm a member of 2 clubs in Canada. The Ladies Club in Moncton, New Brunswick, which is on the east coast of Canada. And we have over 300 members. I think we're one of the largest ladies groups for PROBUS. And I belong to Shediac on the shores of New Brunswick, and it is a mixed club.
Thank you. And Marlene is also our coordinator for Canada. Thank you, Marlene.
Thank you.
Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm in Pickering, Ontario. I'm at Pickering Lakeside. I also belong to the Ajax one. Pickering has over 400 members, and there's a second Pickering club as well. So we're anxious to get rolling.
Great. Douglas.
Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from my hometown of Welland, Ontario, which is located near near Niagara Falls. My home PROBUS group is a mixed group in the village of Fawn Hill. It's called Pelham PROBUS. We have about 170 members, a very active group. We had a social event last night. We're having another we call it happy hour on Friday, and then a ghost walk at Old Fort George in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Thank you. Nick, good morning, Nick.
Yeah, good morning, Richard. How are things?
Very good, thank you.
So I represent the Somerset West Men's Club here in Western Cape, South Africa. It's about a 40-minute drive north of Cape Town. We have about 50 members, doing very well. And I am also the president of the Council of Southern Africa for PROBUS. So essentially, we're just a small team that oversees the administration of the clubs in the country.
Great. Thank you, Nick. Peter.
Yeah, I'm the webmaster for PROBUS Global and a member of the St. Catharines PROBUS Club, which is men's only. Used to have 200 members and is down into about 60 odd now. We spun off a mixed club in Pelham, which had 0 members when it spun off and is now at 170. So maybe that says.
Oh, wow.
Great, thank you.
Peter, we're up to 78 now.
Oh, good.
That's what happens when you have a month away.
Yeah.
I think we covered just about everybody. Richard Furlong and belonged to the Newmarket, Ontario Men's PROBUS Club, president of PROBUS Global, and just had an outstanding September where we had a celebration of one of our members who is a 99-year-old veteran. A fantastic event we had. Did I miss anybody? If you speak up, if I have. Linda, yes, how can I miss you?
It's yeah, I'm on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, and it's 5 a.m. I'm barely awake. Yeah, and I actually I'm an honorary member of the combined club, even though there's 280 men, and I'm one of 2 women.
Great, thank you.
Okay, you missed me. I talked before, but not everyone was in. Can I introduce myself?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I'm Nancy Cartwright, and I live in Port Dover, which is like an hour from Toronto, but I can see there's a lot of people who live sort of around me in the Ontario region. ours is a 10-year-old club and we have 200 members. Our area is mainly people retiring to get out of the hustle and bustle of an urban center. So it's a very active club down here. Our town is only 7,000, but there are 2 clubs, a really small one and our big one. So I think this is a great idea. I've never done this before. It's lovely to hear from people around the world who belong to PROBUS.
Great. We appreciate you joining, and let's get on with we don't have a
Rhea Bennett's here from
oh,
Lindsay.
okay, sorry.
I'm a member of the Fenland Falls PROBUS Club, and that's 350 members. It's a mixed club. And also of Lindsay, which is 220, and that's all ladies. And yes, it's wonderful to be able to get together with so many people across the world. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for joining us, Maria.
Richard,
Hi.
Richard, there's also a member from Chennai, India, who has posted a chat. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Yes. It says, "Good evening. I am, and excuse me if I spell it, if I pronounce it wrong, Anadhurai M, representing PROBUS Club of Chennai, India. It is a mixed club, and we have more than 300 members."
Ooh.
Oh, fantastic.
I don't think you've got Liz.
Mayor.
Good morning. I'm Liz Smith from New Zealand, and I belong to the PROBUS Club of Kapiti Coast, which is the first PROBUS club in the Southern Hemisphere and the South Pacific. So next year we've got our 50th birthday coming up.
Richard's left us.
I know.
Who's driving?
Richard.
Thank you. I had to step away for a minute. I had almost an emergency one. We have an addition to our golf group today, so.
You got somebody on the road, Richard.
Yes. Okay, everybody is checked in. I'm glad to hear that. We have 27 participants right now. We don't have an intensive agenda today. I just want to go through a few things. We have a management group for PROBUS Global. And we have a number for our people with us today, but we're missing a couple. We did have regrets from Graham in the UK. And unfortunately, Rob and Merv from Australia have not joined us. But talking about our management team, one of the things I wanted to put on the table was the fact that when we had our initial president, Shirley Roberts, and unfortunately Shirley passed away, and I'm not sure whether I was volunteered or volunteered myself, but we agreed at that point I would become the president and we would set it up as a 3-year term. That term is up in May of 2024. I hope that we can have somebody step forward and move in with some new ideas, some new approaches, that type of thing. Hopefully, if you, in your activities, if you would like to serve, or you have somebody you'd like to recommend, please get it to myself or Peter, and we can circulate it. So that's coming up in May. One of the other issues we have is, as you know, this is a members organization without any cost and without any real format. But one of the things we have considered over the last meeting or two is getting our PROBUS Global registered somewhere in the world. And we have been looking at Belgium as that option, and I really think we should move forward in the near future and make sure we become more of an official organization. One of the other issues we have is revenue. And we don't have a lot of expenses, but one of the things we do have is the cost for our website. So at some point, we need to look at a revenue stream. And on the PROBUS Global website, there is an area there where members can go in and help out, because currently Peter is handling most of the burden for the website. So if we can help Peter out, that would be great. Until we do is generate a website. We've looked at people wanting to advertise with the group. We're trying to keep it as non-commercial as possible, but that may be something we'll have to look at down the road. The other program we have is we have a coordinator program around the world, and Marlene is one of our coordinators in Canada, as mentioned. Liz certainly in Liz Smith in Australia, in New Zealand, and Jacques Pierre and Gauthier are looking after Europe. So we really need to certainly expand on that program and hopefully become more active. One of the areas I'm a little disappointed in, you look at the population of PROBUS members in Australia, and they're number 3 or 4 as far as the country with the active PROBUS global members. And what I'd like to do is either zero in and find out what we can do to help out there. One of the things we should address and find out what we need to do is better circulation on the fantastic newsletter that Mary puts together on a quarterly basis. When I see new members joining, and one of the things that I see when they say, "Oh, a friend advised me. I just heard about it yesterday," or picked up on the website, and they've been members for 10 or 20 years. So we're still, as PROBUS around the world, as we talk about, PROBUS is one of the best kept secrets for seniors and retirees. And I think PROBUS Global is even a bigger secret among our PROBUS Global members, because we have a lot to offer, as you'll find out as we go through today's program. So, expanding the coordinator program and helping with the circulation of our newsletter. From the marketing aspect, certainly that's part of the conversation I just had, points I was making. But we have so many interesting programs on our website. And one of the things that's very encouraging over the last 12 to 18 months has been and we heard a comment today where clubs are twinning. And that really is a great exchange of information, ideas, and just the opportunity for members to find out about the other clubs around the world. And as we're finding out, post-pandemic, people are starting to travel more, and the option of meeting PROBUS friends around the world is really something that's very encouraging. I think Peter can, and probably Jacques Pierre can, and Gauthier. I see Gauthier just joined us. Good morning, Gauthier.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can talk a little bit about their get together in Europe recently. So that's very encouraging that not only can we communicate and say hello virtually as we're doing this morning, but in-person get-togethers is certainly something that is occurring, and we like to hear more about also. But that's kind of a quick summary where we are. Moving on to the next part of the agenda was, Peter, can you fill us in a little bit on I know you're not top of your game today, but where we are with the website and anything you'd like to update on from that standpoint.
Okay, are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Good. I can hide.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
it's there. Thank you.
Looking to hide that thing at the top, but It's there. No, loading meeting controls. Okay. Any rate, just very quickly, the membership is now up to 1,174. Canada is beating Britain once again at 420 to 417, but that may change tomorrow. Growth has been pretty steady all along, and I usually set these to animate, but I know that Liz has got a long presentation, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time at. All of this is available on the website from the FAQ page. You just look at the link to statistics, so you can see these graphs yourself. And while I've got my screen on, I will bring up a little bit from my last trip to Europe. I was fortunate to contact Gauthier and say, I'm in Europe and I've got a camper, and Belgium's not that far away, so can I join you? And it turned out that Gauthier and Jacques-Pierre had already arranged a inter-club meeting between France and Belgium, so I showed up. That's my belly on the left, and this is a group of French people. Jacques-Pierre is in the middle at the back, being shown around. I think this is a Graven couple in Kortrijk. Yeah. And this is me with to prove
excellent.
I camped on Gauthier's driveway with my camper for a few nights, and Gauthier and Brea were amazing hosts. So it was a wonderful visit for me. And then I went to Paris and I ran into Pierre Evrard, who is also a Probus Global member and a member of our photo club group. He's posted photos in the photo group as well. And he's involved with an amazingly good photography magazine called Open Eye. So it was fun to get together and chat with him as well. And I think that's all I've got. And then I will be able to show Liz's video, or Liz could show it herself. So there you go.
Great. Thank you, Peter. That's great.
Hello, can I ask a quick question?
Peter, can you send me the photo of you and Gauthier?
I will do that.
Be a nice little one for the newsletter.
Yep.
Thank you, Mary.
Good morning. Peter, I did not see any clubs from the United States. Do they not have membership down there?
There aren't many clubs in the United States. There's one new one in Florida, and there's one that's actually kind of on the border with Canada, and it's more like a Canadian club in the US.
Interesting. Thank you.
Peter, do you want to stop your sharing?
Yeah, I thought I had.
No, you're back to lunch meeting.
Is that me, or is that yeah, that's why I'm confused.
I'll stop it then. I don't know who did it, but do you want me to stop it?
Yeah, is that mine? No, that's not my screen.
Right.
Whoever's screen it was, it's not mine.
Okay, we're back. Thank you.
Peter, but it's gone.
The question was about the U.S.
Barry's on this call.
Barry?
Oh.
I'll mute Nancy. Go ahead, Richard.
The question was about the clubs in the United States. It was never a big Probus location. Probably when we started Probus Global, there was probably 7 or 8 clubs that we found in the United States, but most of them were very inactive, and a number of them have folded since we had contact with them. But as Peter said recently, we had a new club join us from the Jacksonville area in Florida, and that's Larry Wright. You may have seen his name floating around. He's very active, and he always ends each meeting, if you're coming through, make sure you let him know, because he loves to meet Probus members from anywhere around the world. And of course, the other one that Peter mentioned is actually tied into the Eastern Canadian district for Probus Canada. It's actually just south of Canada, I think in Maine. So that's where we are. We with Larry Wright's help, we continue to explore getting additional clubs in the U.S., because if we can get them going, like everything in the U.S., once they get an idea, they'll jump on it and move.
Thank you.
So thank you on that. Marlene, any update you'd like to make on the membership and registration and your
Well,
bailiwick?
I don't have anything to talk about today about that. I thought Brenda might be here to do it. As you know, I've been ill for about a year and I'm back on track again. And so I hope to have at the next meeting, I'll have something to tell you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, I guess, Linda, anything you'd like to update as far as the administration?
No, I'm just, regular every day, get emails from various clubs that have been accessed, and I try to contact them to get more current information. And it's really working well. People are responding and giving me more current information. It is, there have been quite a few clubs that have gone down in membership, and some have folded, but others have combined with a local club so that they continue to run. But other than that, it's just an ongoing daily routine that I always see emails, and sometimes help Peter when he disappears with membership of people that want to join PROBUS Global.
I'd also like to thank Linda and Malcolm for making a donation to help with the cost of running the website. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. Okay, I guess moving on to the next phase, but before we get that set up, as we move into these, we like to do these meetings, we'd say quarterly, but they're normally probably 3 times a year. Normally we circulate the draft agenda, and we're looking for input from anybody else as to what they'd like to add to the agenda, any topic whatsoever. Please, when meeting notices come out and you have ideas, suggestions, or things you'd like to talk about, please let Linda know. She controls the agenda. That's where we feed everything through. You have a central point. So please, if you have things you'd like to talk about, please get them to us so we can get them on the agenda. Now, moving on today. No, we got one more thing on the agenda before we move into our keynote. Mary Wilson, who's, as I mentioned previously, does an outstanding job with our newsletter. Mary, do you have any update for us on the newsletter?
No, not really. It's I managed to fill it. I get quite a lot of contributions, but it's always from the same people. So if anybody who's at this meeting and wants to contribute, I would welcome it. Articles are up to about 500 words, which is only about half, 3/4 of a page. So if anybody would like to do that, I'd appreciate it. The more we have from members all over the world, the better.
Great, thank you. And one of the things that we talked about is a letter to the editor. Hopefully we can get more proactive in that area also. Thank you. Okay, we're asked Marlene a little bit about Canada, and Gauthier and Jaques put together a information package on Europe. So if you wouldn't like to tell us a little bit more about what's going on in Europe, we'd really appreciate it.
Okay, well, I think it's first to Jacques Pierre.
Yeah, a short report of what's happening in France. We've got a new president, which is for the first time a guy from the south of France, because most of our clubs are gathered in the north of France, close to the Belgian border. And during this meeting, we had the pleasure to receive Gauthier, which is a combination of friendship between France and Belgium, which exists for quite a long time. Now, Gauthier, I'll let you speak about Belgium and Holland, if you like.
Thank you. Well, it's convenient that we live close to each other, which makes it possible and easy to arrange things together with Jacques-Pierre. We live basically 20 kilometers away from each other. So news in Belgium, we have, after COVID, as everywhere, I think, we had a sharp decline of membership. But I'm proud to announce that 2 new clubs were chartered this year. One both in the region that is close to the north of France. Another 2 are preparing for chartering, which will, I don't think it will happen still this year. It'll be early 2024. One of which is in the Ypres area, which is quite well known because of World War I, and the other one will be in Brussels. We in Belgium, we organize every other year, 2 years, a national day for all members of all the Belgian PROBUS clubs, and that had to be postponed because of COVID. So the 25th reunion took place in Antwerp, and we were pleased to welcome the just past president of PROBUS France, together with Jacques-Pierre, amongst the 464 people who attended the gathering. People were excited to have visits around Antwerp, the city of Antwerp, and then benefited from a meal arrangement and drinks, so that everybody could mingle well amongst those known and less known. Unfortunately, PROBUS Netherlands was invited, but they could not come. And you'll see that we've been updating that in another way. Other special activities. Every year there's, since 3 years now, I think, there's a PROBUS lawn bowling event, but it's in the far end of Belgium, close to the German border, so that it really is much more a local event than a national event. The PROBUS golf tournament was reactivated after COVID. That was for the 8th time. It took place in Brussels, and we had about 85 people golfing and then enjoying each other afterwards. I participated in the walk, but not in the golfing. Then, as Peter mentioned, Jacques-Pierre and myself could arrange a meeting of PROBUS Belgium and PROBUS France. And instead of inviting a PROBUS club, we invited members of the board of PROBUS France on the one side, with the purpose of being exposed to a mixed club, which is so far non-existent in France. So far, they have always been only men clubs. And the second reason was inviting people from several clubs. And like that, we could unite members from 6 French clubs and 6 Belgian clubs. And it turned out to be an excellent opportunity. Yeah, my screen disappeared, but I hope I'm still on Zoom.
You are, yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
And see you.
Okay, that's the main thing. So that's about France and Belgium. About Holland.
And you forget one thing during this meeting. We had the great pleasure to meet Peter coming from
Yes.
And I could say that if you want to get the French people to attend a meeting, Gauthier did a very good job of having it at an excellent restaurant with, as he at the invitation said, well, we will have drinks from 12 to 1 and dinner or lunch from 1 to 4. So that's how to have a good PROBUS meeting.
That's indeed rather a tradition. I had to hurry away from my luncheon today, my PROBUS luncheon today, in order to attend this meeting. So indeed, again, well, those who were present were all excited, and even today at the table we talked about Peter. So it's an excellent idea. So Peter, you're welcome again.
Tell me,
But
just send me the
others
invitation.
are as well.
Yes, send me the menu so I can decide.
What I find interesting about Holland is they have a new national management, and Jacques, Pierre, and myself could meet the new president in March, and had a very enjoyable meeting. Unfortunately, he couldn't come to the Belgian National Day, but he allowed us to prepare in Dutch a presentation of PROBUS Global, which was published in the Dutch newsletter. And as a consequence, the Dutch membership increased threefolded. So I think it was a good idea. Together with Jacques Pierre, we attended their biannual national meeting, and there again were asked by several people about PROBUS Global. We could present it shortly on in front of the audience, but then around lunch or in between, several questions were raised by different people. And even tomorrow, I'll have a phone call from a Dutch person who is interested. So I think it's gratifying to have been able to do that. So that's a progress. Any contacts in Germany? Contacts, yes. Responses, no. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Moving ahead from 3 years ago, you two gentlemen have done a great job. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nick French, any update you may have on what's happening in your area down in South Africa?
Not much. And as I have mentioned in the past, post-COVID, we had a fair amount of attrition in terms of our club numbers. And that's more or less stabilized. I think since then, we've unfortunately lost a couple more clubs due to the same old problem of simply not having people willing to step up and serve on excos and getting younger folk in who are prepared to shoulder this burden. So this has had a fairly devastating effect on our situation, but things have more or less stabilized now. And I don't think there's anything new happening in terms of new clubs coming on board. We are just keeping an eye on the whole club situation in South Africa as our council is, which is really just a 3-person team at the moment. There are going to be some changes coming next year in terms of the composition of this group, because some of us are going to be moving on, and there's going to be some handover to other parties somewhere else in the country. So that's basically it. Not really much more to report than that.
Thank you, Nick. Lynn.
I just wanted to ask, Nick, I thought last time you said you were moving. Did you move?
Yeah, I am in the process of moving, and that's one of the reasons why we're having some changes coming up in the coming months. I have, in fact, successfully purchased a house in England, and will probably be there permanently from about April next year.
Yeah.
Well, good luck in your move. Good.
Thanks. Yeah, it has not been easy, but I managed it.
Good, great. Well, Ram, Ram in India, they just had, their club had their, I think it was their 25th celebration, and it looked like an outstanding event, and Certainly, PROBUS Global did get recognition in India. Ram, any update you may have in India?
We have celebrated this Jubilee celebration 25th year, and it's done very well. We had a lot of fun, dances, and quiz and everything, and it was really wonderful. Everybody enjoyed it, and it's a landmark that we have now completed 25 years of the club's existence. And thank you very much for giving a little write-up for the club for the 25th anniversary. And it was really well taken, and we have taken out one souvenir that gives us the full 25 years history. So that I think Dr. Rao must have dispatched to you. This is what happened. And we are very happy that, in India we have completed 25 years. This PROBUS. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Liz, do you have anything you'd like to add from New Zealand?
No, we did have one exciting event, and Jaques, thank you so much. You gave the president of one of the Wellington clubs a contact in Nice, and she was holidaying just out of Nice and was entertained for an evening by that club. And she has come back and said what a fantastic opportunity it is for other New Zealanders who are traveling around the world to make contact with PROBUS Global members and to make a visit to them. So Jaques, thank you so much for passing on that information. I think it was a bit of a shock to the system because she calls herself Sandy, and the person who went to collect her to take her to the dinner was actually expecting a man, not a woman. A lot of the clubs in New Zealand, or perhaps the majority, are actually combined clubs.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think all clubs, initially with COVID, people were a little reticent about going to meetings. So there used to be a lower number attending. I think now, and certainly in the area where I am, the numbers are coming back. People are no longer afraid to come out to meetings with the risk perhaps of getting COVID. But certainly at the moment, New Zealand is very much, clubs around New Zealand are very much focusing on how we will be celebrating the 4th of November next year. So the celebrations of the 50th will be around the country. And so there is a planning committee as to how New Zealand will, as a overall, celebrate the event.
Thank you, Liz. That was great. Anybody else like any comment from their area of the world?
Yeah, Richard, I'd like to speak about Queensland, that I can speak on. I can't give you a great deal of stats on Australia, but as PAQ, we've now established this year 3 new clubs, which were one just established 2 months ago. We have another one that is going to be out at Pittsworth, which is getting out into the centre of Queensland. That's been established on the 4th of November. And then we have 4 planned for the beginning of next year, one being in a township called Emerald, which is way out there. And that one we're doing a lot by Zoom. And some of the actual foundation meeting will be done by Zoom, as we're not able to get enough people out there to help them out do it. So, yeah, it's as the president of Queensland, I'm encouraging us to use Zoom far, far more than we do. We used it a lot during COVID and held a lot of our clubs together and encouraged them to have Zoom meetings themselves. And we had lots of jokes and things like this that we sent out, and crossword puzzles and you name it, that we emailed out to all the clubs to keep the clubs in contact with each other. We developed phone trees and explained to clubs how to run a phone tree so that everybody was contacted every month at least once. So all of that helped us maintain a reasonably good level of members. We didn't lose, we didn't lose any clubs during COVID, and we only lost 110 members throughout all of Queensland during that period of time. We've all been back with our clubs for a good couple of years now, not worrying about COVID anymore. It seems to be the common thing that it's there no matter what, and just, you know, stand up and get on with life sort of thing. Yeah, just accept the fact that it is part of our lives now. So we've been doing a lot of development that way, but my greatest wish is that we do more digital things, because let's face it, the world is going digital and we've got to catch up with it. So a lot of our education will be on Zoom and will be digital. We also hold workshops throughout the year. Our first one is always for our presidents, secretaries and treasurers that are new ones into their positions after March, after our annual general meetings. The next one we do is for our outings and activities officers and our guest speaker officers. So to help them, we now have a library of names of guest speakers for Queensland that we can send out at any time. And then the last one that we do is headed, where will your club be in 2024? And that's all worked on the succession plan and teaching them that they must have their succession plans in place and know where they're heading so that their club will be okay at the next annual general meeting. So that keeps us pretty occupied, I must admit. We've also had October. Well, no, we haven't had October. Hasn't finished yet, but I get up each morning and wish we were at the 30th of October. October being Seniors Month in Australia, also PROBUS Month in Australia. I myself have now attended 23 functions up until today, just all around the Brisbane area, although I must admit I've just come back from Gympie today, just attending functions that they are having to celebrate PROBUS, to celebrate the PROBUS month, to celebrate the fact that we're seniors. A lot of the clubs utilise our council personnel, our state members, and some our federal members to get money out of them to help run the cost of the functions that we're doing. So I'm a great advocate for asking councils, state members, federal members for money, and I'm one of these people that I sort of stand there and say, well, come on, you know, either give it or, but I'm not leaving until I get a yes sort of thing. So it's worked well, and we have managed to get quite a bit of money from the parliamentary people to help the clubs have their events that they want to have without a great deal of cost to them. So, but October is a huge month for Australia. It really is.
Oh,
would you say it's rather large, Mary, with your own club?
Yes, it is. But we've had an influx of new members because we've had quite a lot drop off the perch recently. And so they're not quite as hyped up about PROBUS yet, but it's working.
Yeah. We've also had a lot of expos. Our parliamentary people run expos in September, October, and we are always invited to attend them. So we have a stand there. It could be right beside Rotary, or we might be standing on our own. But it's an opportunity for us to have all the flyers and information we could possibly have at those expos, because they are attended by a very large number of seniors who are all looking for something else to do.
Yeah,
we
actually attended one a week ago or something like that, and we collected 20 emails and phone numbers. people who
yeah.
were interested, and we thought that was
Yeah.
quite good.
And that's a pretty good average for our expos as well, too. You've got 400 or 500 seniors coming through. Our greatest attraction have been people who have moved, sold their homes, moved into a retirement village. And the first 12, 18 months that they're there, this is great, we're doing lots of activities. And they're finding that they're seeing the same people every day. And that's where we get them coming into PROBUS, because they want to see somebody who is not in their village and do something with those people and have an outside interest other than just their village. So it's been to our advantage, really. It really has. And particularly when the 4 clubs that we've opened this year so far have all ended up with over 100 members after their 2nd month of foundation. So, yeah.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. You did mention you do have a speakers list. You should not forget also that we have a speakers corner on PROBUS Global. We have speakers from all over the world that are more than available to speak to your club anywhere around the world. Our club yesterday had a speaker from the UK, and a great speaker, Chris Leeward, and he's been on the PROBUS Global speakers list for quite some time, and he does a great job, mostly around the Battle of Britain, that type of thing, World War II information. And the good news is he'll do it for a donation to any charity of the club's choice. So he does a fantastic presentation.
Richard, may I comment? Doug Wolford here. May I comment on our Australian speaker? I was in Australia in 2019 in Adelaide, and I attended a very interesting PROBUS meeting there. The speaker then, I believe, he spoke about his company, family-run company, Charlesworth Nuts, and in Adelaide, and it was near where my friends live. They live in Belfin Island in the West Lakes. Is that still going there in Adelaide?
Yes, I know the club is still in existence. Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. I enjoyed that. Enjoyed the speaker.
I'm definitely interested in the speaker list that PROBUS Global does have, because one of the things I would like to achieve within my 3-year term would be to start a satellite PROBUS club. I had a phone call from a woman who said she'd read an ad that we had in the seniors newspaper and how she would love to join a PROBUS club. And I said, well, whereabouts do you live? And she gave me this strange name, and I am glad it was a phone and not a video, because I had to pull this weird face because I didn't have a clue where she was. So the next thing I asked her was, well, how far would you be from your largest town? And I said, that may give me a better idea. And she simply said to me, well, it takes me 2.5 hours to get to our front gate. And I'm going, 2.5 hours to your front gate? That would be like me travelling from my home in Brisbane up past Toowoomba and further. It turns out she's on a property, which started me thinking a satellite PROBUS club where they can link in on a satellite on a certain day per month and have basically a club meeting via Zoom on the satellite. And then I had to start thinking, what do I do about speakers for them? And of course, Global PROBUS with your speakers list is going to be my greatest asset to get that started. So that's my one wish to complete before I finish my 3 years.
Good, because you could also ask for members from anywhere around the world, if you're going to a virtual club. So that's great. Moving on, because we're getting a little tight on where we like to get on our schedule. The next phase is we normally have a focus country, and today the focus is New Zealand. And Liz has put together a fantastic video on New Zealand. So Liz, if you're ready to roll, let's do it.
And I'm actually going to rely on Peter to roll it for me because I keep saying I'm a Luddite. I wouldn't have a clue how to do that. Peter, it's over to you.
I will do that whenever you're ready there, Liz. And I'm still amazed that your eyes are open. What time is it now?
It's about it's nearly 2 a.m. If I nod off, just please excuse me. Peter, over to you now. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just start the video then. I'm making sure we've got sound and optimized here. Why does it not want to click? Is that working for everyone?
Maureen.
Yep.
Good morning. And welcome to this snapshot presentation on New Zealand, the little country that looks like it's at the bottom of the world and is often referred to as the land of the long white cloud, the shaky isles, and now Aotearoa. Who are we? New Zealand is a widely diverse population of people from all around the globe who have brought with them their culture, traditions, foods, and religions. History tells us New Zealand was discovered sometime between 1200 and 1300 by the Polynesian ancestors of our Maori people, and who, navigating by the stars, sailed their waka down through the Pacific. In 1642, the Dutch navigator Abel Tasman sailed by New Zealand, but never landed. He did make a sketch map of a tiny segment of the New Zealand coast. The map shows his voyage from Indonesia and the western coastline of Australia and also Tasmania. It was not until over 100 years later, in 1769, that the English explorer, Captain James Cook, began mapping the southern lands and landed on the shores of Poverty Bay on New Zealand's east coast. This first voyage recorded the indigenous peoples, the unique flora and fauna, and those first records were later added to in 2 later voyages. The New Zealand Company, a private company, was established in the United Kingdom in the 1800s in response to the chronic poverty in the UK. Citizens were invited to leave behind their old life for a new one in the newly discovered land, New Zealand. Those who made the 110-day voyage to this far-flung British colony were mainly from England and Scotland. The New Zealand Company established settlements in Wellington, Nelson, Whanganui and Dunedin. The original Wellington settlement, called Britannia, today Petone, was on a site totally unsuitable, being swampy, prone to flooding, and with only shallow waters unsuitable for shipping. Quickly, the settlement was located to the other side of the harbour, where Wellington, the capital, remains today. Between 1840 and 1852, some 18,000 made the voyage from England. Dunedin in the South Island was home to many of the Scottish immigrants, and the city name means Edinburgh. The first settlers founded the Church of Scotland in Dunedin, and the Scottish heritage is still very strong today. Today, most of the 5 million population live in urban areas in the North Island, and the largest and most diverse populations are to be found in Auckland, with a population of over 1.6 million people. This city, straddling 2 harbours, is the major gateway to New Zealand, with a large number of international airlines flying into its airport daily. Auckland is often referred to as the city of sails, as it has more yachts per capita than anywhere else in the world. Next in size is Christchurch, the largest city in the South Island, followed by Wellington, the capital, with a population of just under 450,000. Of the languages spoken in New Zealand, English is the most common, followed by Te Reo Māori. Because of the large Polynesian communities in Auckland and in Porirua, north of the capital Wellington, Samoan is the second largest language spoken in those areas. What amazes most visitors to New Zealand is the diversity of its scenery, which includes glaciers, fjords, rainforests, snow-capped Alps, volcanoes, steaming geysers, boiling mud pools, and crystal clear lakes. There's something for every visitor to see or do. Years ago, the author Zane Grey enthused about trout fishing in New Zealand, and the same is true today. For lovers of deep sea fishing, marlin is found in the northern waters and salmon in the South Island. The South Island also offers good hunting. All around the coast of New Zealand, great seafood can be found, including a few natives to these waters, such as paua, crayfish, and kina or sea eggs. Imagine stopping at Kaikoura in the South Island and enjoying a crayfish cooked straight from the ocean as you survey the rugged scenery. Rotorua, apart from its geysers, boiling mud pools and thermal waters, is home to Maori culture, and here you can immerse yourself into all things Maori. For those who enjoy more active visits, there are a number of great scenic walks, either of 1 or 2 days, or longer ones such as the Milford Track in Fiordland National Park. This is known as one of the great walks of the world. For those who wish shorter walks, both our islands offer a wide choice, as well as cycleways. The sports-minded are catered for with excellent golf courses, many in very picturesque locations, and for the thrill seekers, Queenstown is the adventure capital of the world. Transport in New Zealand is mainly by road or air, although there are some very scenic train journeys. There is also a wide range of accommodation, from humble backpacker to motels, major international hotel chains, and a number of luxury, award-winning lodges, listed in various lodge guides showing the best in the world. Whatever your taste or budget, tourism in New Zealand has something for everyone. Whilst our scenic wonders are unique, it doesn't end there, as New Zealand is a major agricultural country that produces sustainably grown beef and dairy products, as well as high-grade lamb. As mentioned previously, our country is known for its seafood, oysters from Bluff, whitebait fritters, crayfish, and a large range of fish. Various areas of the country are known for their orchards, and produce from these is exported all across the globe. Probably best known, the kiwi fruit and the New Zealand varieties of apples. At Christmas, cherries from Otago and strawberries are exported to northern markets. As well as large tracts of land devoted to farming and agriculture, many hectares are covered in vineyards, and New Zealand wines are now widely recognized around the world and are receiving recognition in major international wine competition.
Good evening, Ram. Can you hear me?
Wine is now New Zealand's 5th largest export. Wine has been a big part of New Zealand life, as the first vines were brought to New Zealand by missionary Samuel Marsden, who planted New Zealand's first grapes at Kerikeri in 1819. As migrants from other wine-drinking countries settled in New Zealand, they first made wine for their own consumption, but this eventually grew with increased demand until a wine industry began as New Zealanders developed a taste for wine. An early Lebanese migrant, Asad Corbin, planted his vineyards in 1902, and Corbin's wines went on to become one of the largest winemakers. Dalmatians, French, Spaniards, and German settlers arrived, many of whom had a long tradition of winemaking, and they were the key to influencing today's industry. Initially, New Zealanders preferred sweeter wines, but gradually taste changed as more varieties of European grapes were introduced. As young winemakers traveled the world, they brought back home with them Old World skills and science-based New World winemaking. Best known of New Zealand wines is Sauvignon Blanc, and over 22,000 hectares are planted with this varietal. Another New Zealand wine taking out major awards are the Pinot Noir wines, many from the Central Otago region, the country's most southern vineyards. Although over 37,000 hectares around New Zealand are planted in grapes, compared to other wine-producing countries, New Zealand is still a tiny producer, and probably wine is best described as a boutique industry. No matter where you travel, in either the North or South Islands, an amazing collection of vineyards are to be found, whose cellar doors invite you in to sample and maybe taste a platter of local cheeses and olives. As well as wines, New Zealand has excellent craft beers, whiskey, and local gins that include native plants in the botanicals. Foraging of plants and fungi has become popular, and high-end chefs are including this in their cuisine, adding a totally New Zealand twist to food. Because of our diversity, many cuisines are to be found in every corner of the country. Our largest group of people is of European descent, followed by Maori, Asian, Pacifica, Middle Eastern, Latin American, and African peoples. A must when in Rotorua is to try a hangi, the traditional Maori way of cooking food over hot stones in a pit and then covered. When in Southland, an iconic New Zealand snack should be sampled, the cheese roll, first created in the 1930s and still very popular today. New Zealand has its own iconic dishes that are unique and make the most of the sea and the land. We are a country of just over 5 million people with a slightly higher ratio of females to males. Although a small country, we've had a number of milestones, such as in 1882, New Zealand began shipping frozen meats to Britain, and in 1893, being the first country in the world to give women the vote. New Zealand was one of the first countries to use screw caps on wine bottles, and now a New Zealand gin company is using a paper bottle made from recycled paperboard and a food grade in a pouch. This makes the paper part suitable for recycling. Over the years, New Zealand has had many famous people, both Maori and Pākehā. Among those were Dame Whina Cooper, who in 1975 led a famous land march that, amongst other things, reminded Kiwis of the strength and identity of the Maori people. Catherine Mansfield is remembered for being one of the best short story writers of all time, and the artist Ralph Hotiri is regarded as one of the most influential by both galleries and collectors. Certainly, the prices his works achieve at auction reflect this. Sir Ernest Rutherford, the nuclear physicist who discovered the atomic nucleus. Sir Edmund Hillary, who 70 years ago, with Sherpa Tenzing Norgay, conquered Mount Everest. The arts have also produced opera stars, Dame Kirita Kanua and Dame Malvina Major. And more recently, Sir Peter Jackson, director and producer of Lord of the Rings and a number of other major movies. But we must not forget that Kiwis are a nation of sports lovers. Who has not seen the famous rugby All Blacks in action? Other sporting notables are golfer Lydia Ko, New Zealand's America's Cup sailors, equestrians, and our international cricket team. There are Probus clubs the length and breadth of New Zealand, most being combined men and women, all with a multitude of adjunct groups for the enjoyment of their members. Perhaps the most important fact is that on the 4th of November 2024, the Probus Club of the Kapiti Coast will celebrate 50 years of Probus. This is the club I belong to, and we are very proud that our club was the first Probus club in the Southern Hemisphere and South Pacific. And so, in a small beachside town of Paraparaumu on the Kapiti Coast, Probus was born in this region of the world. I would like to share with you a few photos showing what our area is known for. Only 40 minutes from Wellington, it is now a fast growth area with a blend of retirees, young families and business people. We are home to, amongst other things, a chocolate factory, craft beer breweries, the renowned Southwoods Car Museum, an aviation museum, and the Bond Store, which make the award-winning limoncello, vodka, and gin infused with the native kawa leaves. Just off our beach is Kapiti Island, a predator-free bird sanctuary and home to many endangered species such as the takahi, the brown kiwi, and the little spotted kiwi. The island is also a major breeding site for seabirds. Although a sanctuary, it is possible to see the native birds in their natural habitat on a day trip to the island, but numbers of visitors are strictly limited. We hope that if any Probus Global members are planning to visit New Zealand in late 2024, that they can coincide with celebrations that will be held around the country to mark this event. We would welcome any Probus Global members and invite you to come and see what we're all about. I hope this gives you a brief overview of New Zealand and its people. If there is a standout quality amongst Kiwis, it is that they are friendly and welcoming, and I hope that now that borders are open, you will make a visit and test this for yourselves.
Okay.
Bravo.
Rao seems to be sharing his screen, so Steve, can you fix that or? Okay.
I just did, Peter.
Now we know whose it is. It said right on it.
Right.
Well, thank you, Liz. That was a very professional presentation about New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I don't know about other people, but Canada in November, I think I'm going to come to your 50th anniversary.
You'd
Yes.
be very welcome, Peter. I think you missed out on visiting us when you were passing through last year, wasn't it?
I had a great time in New Zealand, but I wasn't close to you, so
No.
we missed that.
Yeah.
We had a great time on the North Island.
Is this video, I guess it's taped, is it something that we could show to our PROBUS club?
I will upload it. This meeting will be uploaded to YouTube, and I will upload this video separately if Liz gives me permission to do that. So it'll be on the PROBUS Global channel on YouTube.
Excellent.
Peter, that's fine. I have to say that, and you know, I am a Luddite. Having gathered all the material and the photos and written a script, I was very lucky that a young man put it all together for me, cobbled it together and made it into a video. So I was very lucky, and I also, Tourism New Zealand did give me access to their photo library. So, you know, a big thank you to all those people who assisted. And the photos of Kapiti were actually some from a past president of our club. But anyhow, it was just to give you a little idea of what we're all about.
The narration was yours, and that was very professional. You could be a broadcaster.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done, Liz.
That was outstanding. You have certainly set a new benchmark for the next focus country.
I don't know. I was terrified following South Africa because that was so good. You made me very nervous.
No, I think that we got on to something real unique here, in that I think we were getting together with Lyndon and probably Peter, and so we probably need a filler at the end of our meeting. Let's do something different. So we had focus countries, and I think we started with Canada way back when. And after looking at this one, I'm sure the next time I'm into the PROBUS website, the PROBUS Global website, I'll go to that big button called Delete, because the standards have been reestablished.
Thank you. And Peter,
thank you
you're
very
welcome
much.
to use it.
If there's no other comments on that, normally we can now flip any comments, any questions, Q&A, that type of thing, then we'll have a wrap up. So any comments would be appreciated, and then we'll go from there.
Your camera's off, Richard. We can't see your lovely self. There you go.
You really look at that as preferred to a blank screen?
Well, debatable.
So any questions from anybody on what we've done today, and really what they'd like to see done in the future? Okay, well, I really appreciate everybody taking the time out of their busy schedule, and please get out there and talk about what we do as a group from PROBUS Global. Make sure that as you get your PROBUS Global newsletter from Mary, get it out to the clubs, get it out to your national organizations. We need circulation. I hate seeing this when we get a new application in to join. Let's say, just heard about it today, or my friend passed it on, or I found it on the website, and then they go on to say they've been a PROBUS member for 5, 10, 15 years. So communications, I think, is something we need to make sure that the newsletter is. Thank you. I just had a coffee delivered.
I was on the phone.
So that's great. Let's make sure that the newsletter gets into as many PROBUS members as possible around the world, and also that we do have the twinning option.
I'm on video.
The twinning
It's ending.
Okay, something. Oh, okay. I think that the recording is off. The other issue is the twinning. A lot of clubs are, not a lot of clubs, but clubs around the world are really enjoying it. Let's make sure that we take advantage of it. And once again, Speaker's Corner is unique. It's got such fantastic, everyone that's listed, every speaker that's listed on our Speaker's Corner is recommended by a PROBUS member or PROBUS club from around the world. And as I mentioned, we had Chris Leeworthy from the UK yesterday. He was just a fantastic presentation, not only on the content, but also on his performances, the way he presents it. And yesterday, everybody sat back amazed, and we asked for questions, and nobody could think of a question. It was so well presented and so much information. So good for him, and as I said, many others on that list that you can utilize. But talking enough.
So Richard, how does it work? You're saying there's questions. It means it's not tape, or you've got a time difference.
Pardon, I missed that. Sorry.
Okay, you're talking about the global speakers, which I think is a great idea. Are they taped? Because how can you have?
Oh no, they're on Zoom. And one of the phases is you have a couple of options on Zoom. You can have it a proactive where they can actually, in our case, we had a portable mic where people could move around the room and ask questions, and that went right into the Zoom system. Or you can have the chat, which is available at the bottom of your Zoom. It's very much like the speakers in the room with you.
Yeah.
Okay, but you've got a time difference where you're in Canada and your speaker was from the UK, so they're 5 hours ahead.
Correct.
So that's okay. I mean, if our speaker starts at 11, that would be what, 4 o'clock in the UK.
Correct.
But it'd be hard to have someone on the other side of the world where Liz is.
That is true, but there are, I don't have the complete list in front of me, but I'm sure there are speakers from Australia that's on the list. Peter, maybe you can clarify, do we have what, about 40 different speakers listed now?
It's probably more than that by now, but yeah, they are from all over, and some of them are willing to speak in the middle of their night if somebody from Australia requested it. I don't think you'd have a problem.
That's amazing. Well, we got Liz. It must be 2 in the morning, and I guess she's still up. She's still there, smiling.
Go ahead, Nancy. Invite Liz to speak at your next meeting and see if she can do it twice.
Yes, Barry.
Yes, on the speaker list, I've already booked 2 from the PROBUS Global website for next year. We have an in-person meeting in July and August, because then it's supposed to go back in September. So I've got those 2 meetings as Zoom meetings, and I've got already booked 2 from the listing on the PROBUS Global website. There's a magician, which I'm looking forward to. Should be a good one. And the other one I'm busy negotiating with. And of course, with only the 5-hour time difference, it works out quite nicely, because our meetings are start at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So it's still only 6 in England, and that'll be okay. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a good test of all this fantastic technology, which is absolutely wonderful. Being able to speak and listen to New Zealand this morning when it's early morning here in Canada is incredible.
I think Stephen Leeworthy has spoken to more than 30 PROBUS clubs based on being listed on that page. So a lot of people taking advantage of it.
Peter, I asked for an update because I had the duty of introducing him yesterday. I think he was up to 70 different clubs around the world, mostly in the UK, mind you, but numerous in Canada. And he's done over 100 presentations to different types of groups. Actually, during COVID, when we went to having international speakers, Nick French, who's on with us today, was one of our first international speakers and did an excellent job on Open Heart. The first heart replacement and did an outstanding job on that. And Nick is out listed on our speaker's corner.
That's right. And I've actually added quite a few more talks since then. So I need to update that, but I do have a website with all my talks listed on it. It's just nickfrench.co.za. Everything you need to know is on there.
And more than we all need, right?
Yeah. I should actually tell you that as a result of a lot of the talks that I gave to clubs in Canada during the COVID period, somehow my name found its way to somebody who runs a speaker bureau for cruise ships. And early next year, I'm going to be doing 2 cruises where I'm going to be an onboard speaker. And that was solely because of my involvement with PROBUS.
Oh, fantastic. Great news.
It's wonderful.
Wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Mm.
Any other comments before we break away?
Just one thing about the speakers. I know we in Australia, the clubs are quite small and they can't afford to pay their speakers. So quite a large number of the speakers on PROBUS Global actually, pardon?
Go ahead, Mary. I have muted. So Ram's wife was calling him. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Quite a number of the clubs are quite small and they can't afford a speaker. And a lot of the speakers on PROBUS Global actually charge for their talks. So I think the Australia is kind of limited a little bit in having just those speakers who don't charge.
Yeah, it's true. The clubs in Canada with 400 or 500 members can pay a reasonable amount, and some of the speakers are professional speakers, and they deserve to get paid for the job they do. You can usually tell the difference, but there's a lot of them that don't charge, and a lot of them are very flexible. They may charge a lower amount if you just negotiate with them or say, look, we're a small group, and a lot of them only require or ask you to give something to charity, either one of theirs or even to your own. So
yeah, because I know my own club, we mostly make a loss on every meeting, just a few dollars, but we do.
Yeah, I think I would say about half of them will speak for free.
That's true, and as Peter said, a donation to charity or appreciate it.
If I can just interject here, I'm actually speaker secretary for my club at the present moment, and I find that I think it's 5 out of 12 speakers for a year I tend to recruit from within the club, so I'm not paying anything for them. And we cap the amount that we will spend on a speaker at £75 in British terms, so that's obviously a few more in dollars. But generally, we find that the cost is reasonable. Now, I don't know there's one, I'm just reading one here from Jeff Evans, who we've actually had speak a couple of times to our group, but he's local to us, so he comes in person, and this is £85. Now, for somebody as good as Jeff, we would increase the amount that we pay. But I do see what Mary's saying, and I mean, I would imagine in Australia, your speakers are probably going to have to travel a little bit further too, because you're not as highly populated in terms of distance as we are in the UK. So there's got to be a disadvantage in that situation. But I think it is an issue that we all have to look at and try and make the best of the situation where you live. And that's what I try and do.
The other option for some clubs or some people looking for presentations, or use your people on PROBUS Global. I'm looking at the group in front of me here. Over the years, Gauthier made a presentation to us. Jaques did, and Pierre did something. introduction to PROBUS Global. I think it was Ram or Ralph from India made a presentation to us. So there's many sources, and you know, you can get as extremely amount of information on what's happening in PROBUS from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So don't forget that source when you're looking for speakers. You know, there's many places that are available. Yes, Barry.
Well, just on this topic, don't forget we have our own homegrown list of speakers with our own membership. When you think about it,
yeah, that's just what I said.
The memberships, we've got thousands of years of working experience in every industry you can think of. So I'm trying to tap into my own membership. Why don't you become one of our speakers? And I presume they wouldn't charge a fee, although that's another thing. But when you talk about the cost of speakers, there's a lot of sources that you could tap into with your own membership. But of course, then you come across this problem. We all have this, our club especially, trying to get volunteers to stand for the executive. Come to the meeting. Don't ask me to do anything. Getting them to volunteer as a speaker is part of the problem. They don't look and make themselves visible. So I'm working on that all the time.
Great. Pierre.
Yeah.
We were invited. I was looking for it here quickly on my information, but we were invited at PROBUS Global to attend a meeting in France, I think in January or February.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, I have it in my files here, but
I'm sorry, I'll have to dig out your mail again.
Okay.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, we'll get the logistics figured out, but it's something to talk. You know, that's once again to spread the word about PROBUS Global and introduce PROBUS Global to that particular club. I think it's a club meeting in France. I think it was January or February. So
Yes, and this year will be in December. I'll talk with the president to see if something can be done by Zoom.
Okay, great. And the other thing, I was very lucky this month. I was supposed to speak at a club in Scotland. And about 2 days before, this was at Stan's club, Peter. Stan, our PROBUS, Stan Thompson, who looks after the speakers corner. He'd asked me to introduce PROBUS Global to their club members. And 2 days before having to get up early, like Linda did today, and make that presentation, something happened with their technology. They couldn't get Zoom working, so I was off the hook. But I'm sure
lucky you, Richard, because I did my talk on paragliding for Stan's club in Bankery, and I had to get up at 5 in the morning to do it.
Yeah. Stan does a fantastic job of gathering information and inviting people to join the speakers list. Anyway, if anything else before we wrap up here? It was a great for the guests.
On speakers, I can only say that this is, for us, it would be difficult to bring in an English speaking person, and most clubs have sufficient internal or external people who can come in and give talks or presentations in our own language.
Right.
Right.
Yes, Rob.
Richard, can I talk, please?
Please go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. Good morning to, I think, most of you there. I'm Rao from PROBUS Club of Hyderabad, India. last couple of months have been fairly active and hectic for our club. The club was established on September 4th, 25 years back, and we had our Silver Jubilee function commemorating that particular event on October 1st, coinciding with our PROBUS Day. And it was really a great event, and most of our members participated. We have 45 members, please, in our club, and it was quite a bit of a participation and lot of friendship and fellowship and so on and so forth. And so what we did was 2-3 things. Number one was we brought out a souvenir in that connection, and that was both on the soft copy as well as hard copy. And we also covered that in our newsletter, which we bring out every month, please. And then we brought out this in the beginning of October. And both of them I had passed on to Richard and our other friends in Canada, including Peter. And they have been already uploaded on PROBUS Global. And I would request, you can kindly go through that. And in case you have any comments on that, etc., you can kindly send them to me. I'm the editor of our PROBUS Club of Hyderabad newsletter for the past about 10 years. And so it will have, I can assure you, it will have an immediate, response from me from all of you. The another highlight of that was we had, passed on these details to our other PROBUS clubs in India, including PROBUS Club of Chennai, Mr. Anadurai, who is of PROBUS Club of Chennai, is also participating today. My other two friends from PROBUS Club Hyderabad, Ram and Mr. Ramakrishna, they are also participating today. They are our PROBUS Global members. And another aspect what we are doing is we felt that it's a great opportunity for us to promote PROBUS Global to throughout the country. So we are some of the decision makers, influencing people, particularly among the elders. We have already communicated to them so that they would have an exposure of what we are currently doing. As a whole, I would say it's a great feeling to all of us. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to share this development with you all. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Ross. Very good. Yes, we did get your information. Looks like a fantastic occasion you had for your anniversary. Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just want to add one point, please. I have been in touch with Richard for the past 3-4 months on this, and his support has been immense, and that has also been covered in our both newsletter and the souvenir, please. Thank you so much, Richard, for the support.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments before we? Okay, I guess that's it for the meeting. Appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate the fact that we continue to expand PROBUS Global. Our membership continue to increase. I like to see that we can expand it a little further, because PROBUS members around the world that don't look in on our newsletter and the website with all the information are missing something. And we are international, and so much information out there. And so your mission today is go out and spread the word. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you,
Thank you
Peter.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Richard.
Yeah,
Thank you. Bye,
take care.
everybody.
Yeah.
Good to see everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you all. Nice.
Thank you
Bye
all.
Good
now.
night.
Next,
Bye-bye.
Good morning, yes.
Bye. Thank you.
And extra thank you to Liz.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Yes,
now.
definitely.
And
Liz,
thank you,
I'm
Liz. You did a great job. Thank you.
Liz, I'm coming to New Zealand early next year.
Here, New
Excellent.
Zealand, here I come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our coffee pot is always on.
Thank
Just
you.
to see those beautiful gardens behind you are well worth the trip.
That's my husband's passion.
Ah,
Beautiful, beautiful
Thank you,
gardens.
Steve, for your support. Thank you, Steve.
thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.